Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, kindly subscribe to the channel and make sure you come back for more videos like these. And if this is not your first time here, guys, what are you waiting for? Kindly subscribe to the channel. Anyway, before I start my video, I have to let you guys know that this is a reaction channel and I react on the news. And if anyone has anything that they want me to put out there to voice, I will do so also. So we are a respectable channel. We don't fight, we don't argue. We're just here to have some fun. Now, many of you who have watched the speeches, even the speech from your country, from the UN Assembly this past week, and one of the most shocking one is the one from the Barbados Prime Minister, Mia Mottley. She delivered a powerful address at the 80th United Nations General Assembly, warning of crisis of truth undermining global order. She called for peace in Gaza and Sudan, urging climate finance and UN Security Council reform with permanent seats for Africa and small island states. Now, the response was overwhelming, positive, praising her honesty, courage, eloquence, and advocacy for oppressed people, especially relating to Gaza, Haiti, Cuba, Sudan, and more. She wasn't afraid to speak the truth. This is a powerful woman who represents the Caribbean, a powerful woman who represents the world. It shocked all the other leaders. Now, her country is small, less than 1 million people. Maybe a little more than 500,000 people. And yet she could go out there without fear of what she was saying, to tell the world that they need to change. Anyway, guys, I'm going to let you listen to a little part of her speech right now. And make sure you leave a comment and tell me what you think about this powerful woman.
Thank you very much, Madam President, Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. The 21st century has been marked by a series of crises for which our world has been unprepared. Financial crisis that started in 2008, which then triggered fiscal crises across many of the world's countries. And if that is not enough, a social crisis characterized by rising inequality with the consequences thereto, be it substance abuse, mental health challenges, homelessness, or human trafficking. Then there was a global pandemic, lasting 2 to 3 years and taking the lives of millions of people. And for those surviving, they had restricted movement and restricted choices. All of this, my friends, has been exacerbated by the spreading of fake news. This distorts reality and threatens the stability of our societies, creating a platform for hate to thrive and prejudice to rise. But deeper than all of these crises is a bigger, more insidious crisis that is undermining our domestic and global institutions that have promoted order, peace, and prosperity. It is, my friends, the crisis of truth. Excellencies, when we lose shared truth, our communities, our countries, our global society loses their center of gravity. At first, the damage may seem quiet. Words bend and facts drift in the service of political point scoring. But slowly, over time, we descend into political tribalism. We develop alternative realities and we are unable to understand each other and communicate with each other because we lack a center. Then we grow suspicious of each other. In the absence of truth, trust deteriorates. And we see it all around us, in global forums, and indeed on the blocks and in the communities in our own countries. Trust between neighbors, trust between the governed and the governing, trust in our instructions, trust in our social order, trust in our health systems, trust in our global rules, governance structures. It all seems, in the words of Chinua Achebe, to be falling apart. When we lack truth and we lack trust, law becomes theater, news becomes spectacle, and science becomes just another opinion. As I've had cause to say in this great hall on a few times, our world today worryingly resembles the world of 100 years ago. And this has become even more evident with the closing of our borders to both goods and to people. This has magnified the geopolitical tensions which had already taken root. Disturbingly, war regrettably has only entered the daily lexicon of the West, not when thousands were dying on the continent of Africa or in Myanmar, but when war came to Europe. Nevertheless, we still call for peace in the Ukraine. Only yesterday, a leading British newspaper reminded us that for 500 days, 260,000 people, virtually the population of my country, 260,000 people have been trapped in the Sudanese city of El Fasher. The article reported that while political progress stalls, those who attempt to escape are killed, and those who remain inside are starved. The world must not ignore the horror in Sudan. And of course, I don't need to remind you that it must not ignore the horror in Gaza. The genocidal destruction taking place in both places must now have our full attention. And as it relates to Gaza, yes, there must be a release of the hostages taken on October 7th. But we have now gone to a point where all of our human sensibilities are offended by the continuous and disproportionate attacks on the Palestinian people and the failure to allow access by the international community to the survivors for the provision of humanitarian aid.
Having a woman, a strong woman from a Caribbean country representing not only Barbados, but our region. Her speech highlights multiple crises. She touched on the financial global crisis of 2008. She touched on social inequality, homelessness and mental health, substance abuse, the health COVID-19 pandemic, misinformation, fake news, and the overarching crisis of truth, which determines trust in institutions and societies. She didn't just go into her speech praising her country. No. She talked about global issues which is trickling down to our little Caribbean countries. And I know that people from Barbados are proud of her. I am proud of her as a black woman and as a woman from the Caribbean and as a leader who doesn't concern herself if it's going to how the President of the United States is going to feel, or is it going to affect her country. She's strong and she speaks the truth. Whoever is offended, maybe she's not going down the right path. We don't know. But at the same time, this is not the first speech I've heard her speak. And she always speaks it as she sees it. Guys, it's a whole half an hour speech, which I'm not going to bore you with. It's all over the internet, so if you want to see the entire, I'll give you a few more clips, but if you want to see the entire speech, just go on the internet and you will see her whole half an hour speech. And believe me, if you are black, if you're a Caribbean, if you're from Barbados, this is a speech that we should all be proud of. So guys, I will see you back here on my next YouTube video. And please make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share the video.
Hate will be perpetuated for another 2 to 3 generations. This is not why we have come together. This is not good. And Madam President, it is happening under our watch. We can and we must do better to secure the peace across the world in the name of the children. And let me say that at the very least, the international community must immediately find the funding to support the children of Gaza and the children of Sudan for the next 3 months. UNICEF has said that in Gaza it is $66 million that is needed for the next 3 months. And in Sudan it is $200 million. The money is mostly nutrition related, to reverse or to mitigate famine for children, and to provide water and sanitation and health interventions. And we should note that there have been multiple disease outbreaks, including cholera. So, Madam President, to be very clear as I move on, a lasting peace can never be achieved through violence, not continued bombing. It can only be achieved through justice as our guide and dialogue, talking. And lest we forget, where others are seeking to build the peace and to preserve humanity in Gaza, as we saw, the international community must not condone the bombing of those states who look to facilitate peace. It is a red line that we must never cross. Madam President, I say simply again, another year, the world needs a reset. We must find, first and foremost, whether we still agree on the same values that inform our charter. As simple as this seems, this is necessary in any reset. For values we all know have changed over the last 80 years. And we cannot assume that it is business as usual. And if it is not available to all of us to agree to those values, then we must at least know who does and who doesn't. In addition to our inability to bring about peace in multiple conflicts, there really still are a number of issues that threaten our way of life and the stability of our planet.